All right, what's going on, guys? TREV back again, here to bring you another video. This one will be doing a video giving our thoughts after yesterday's video on the rumors that the Walking Dead movie will begin filming in spring 2022. Alright, so I wanted to go ahead and kind of continue with the thread that we've had going with respect to Walking Dead World Beyond and how the ending of World Beyond is going to affect the Walking Dead movie. Now, if you guys haven't seen World Beyond, that's okay. I won't give away too much, but we'll just go into some of the things that are in it. It's up to its 9th episode for its last season, so season 2, and there'll be one more episode for it, and then World Beyond will be over. We'll likely do a recap when it's done here in the next week or two, and because it does contain some things as pertaining to the movie, in that Jadis has come in as a main character in the last quarter for World Beyond. So with respect to the movies, we have some different comments from you guys we'll go ahead and go through. TheAireaidLord said, Trev, there have been several reports that movie filming will start this spring. So that would be spring of 2022. Now, there were some announcements last year, or well, earlier on this year, 2021, that we would be seeing the Walking Dead movie begin production in this springtime. Now, I'm not exactly sure what happened with this, but The Walking Dead's final season is more than halfway through filming now. It's probably getting close. Most likely they will probably wrap filming on the final season of Walking Dead, likely during the wintertime or by about March, April, May type time frame. They likely will finish the last part for the Walking Dead television series, unless they have some really epic stuff planned for the ending of the Walking Dead original series. And maybe if that's the case, then they maybe take a little bit longer to do those episodes. But the rumor that the Walking Dead movie will actually start filming in this springtime coming up does make sense to me, because that will be the point where the original Walking Dead TV series will be finished. So if they start filming the Rick movie after they're finished filming the last season of Walking Dead, then they'll be able to tap anybody who was working on the final season, any of the producers, just anybody involved, and they'll be able to take them and use them for the Walking Dead movie. So if there's any of our cast and crew in the Rick movie and the Walking Dead movie, they'd be able to likely use them if they even have a small part or something. Any of the directors or anything like that they might use for it. Maybe they just decided at some point that they would do the Walking Dead movie once the original TV series had actually fully wrapped up or fully finished. It is kind of unfortunate that doing the Walking Dead movie, or at least the way things have gone with the Walking Dead, that they've gone ahead and ended the TV series in order to do the movie, or they end the series, and then finally we're going to get to see the movie after the series is actually ended. You'd almost prefer that they brought Rick back to the original Walking Dead TV series, and you do like a couple more seasons with it instead. So if the rumors are true and we end up seeing it start filming this spring coming up, we can expect to most likely see the release for the Walking Dead movie the year after, probably, because it takes them a long time after filming to do all the editing and all that stuff. Most likely we would see the Walking Dead movie premiere in 2023, so that would be the year after the Walking Dead TV series is ended, because the Walking Dead original TV series will run to the end of 2022, and then we would see the Walking Dead movie air probably late 2023, hopefully, or possibly early 2024. So we'll see what happens, guys. We'll see if any of these rumors are true or anything. I wouldn't even be surprised if they switched their plans with the movie or did some other spin-off series with Rick or something, like another AMC series or something, but it's a little bit tricky. I have some comments from you guys after these World Beyond episodes, because they did include a lot of the stuff that I was expecting to see in the Rick movie in World Beyond, and some of it is really good near the end of World Beyond. The unfortunate thing with World Beyond is I feel like the cast that they chose as protagonists with World Beyond was very weak. Most of them were very young. Maybe they relate to a very young audience, but they just didn't have that many characters that a lot of us older Walking Dead fans would relate to. Now, some people like it. Hippichick, for example, seems to like World Beyond a lot, so that's fine. So some of the female viewers do like World Beyond, but you know, for a lot of us, a lot of people had already checked out by the time they got to the really good stuff with the CRM, and by the time they got to Jadis and they got to all this stuff, most people had already kind of quit watching World Beyond by that point. Soulburst said there will be no movies. They have showed us everything that movie was going to show us in World Beyond. And I do agree to some extent that it is strange. I remember the poster for the Walking Dead movie, the cityscape. Some people had figured out that it looked like, I think it was it Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania? One of the two. Maybe it was Pittsburgh, somewhere where Rick would be. So that was something before, but that was a couple years ago now, and all of that would be subject to change. You know, whatever they release there, who knows? They could always go back on it. They could always change it. There's no way to know if that would even be in effect. But yes, it is also true that the CRM probably has different locations. It would be cool if maybe they had even brought Rick to a different country or something. I think that could be very interesting if they would have brought him to somewhere outside of the U.S. Maybe the CRM is like an international organization of some kind, which would be pretty sweet. So that could be cool to see. I guess ultimately we'll just have to wait and see what they do with it. How does the Daryl Carroll spinoff fit in with that? Really no idea. Will we see any more crossover stuff with CRM in Fear the Walking Dead? Or is that kind of finished now? Just have no idea. And then the final episode for World Beyond, the 10th episode, will be airing soon. So we'll get to see that pretty soon and see how the whole thing wraps up. And maybe that will give us some more details or kind of lead into the Walking Dead Rick movie. Something like that. But it is really weird to see Jadis in World Beyond. It makes World Beyond better, but I would have expected to see her with Rick, you know, when we got to see her again. But who knows? Maybe it'll be all right, and maybe they'll do some kind of setup thing in episode 10 that will lead to the Rick movies afterwards that may make it worth our while for sticking with World Beyond through to the end. So we have Stephanie Syck, who said, I really have enjoyed Walking Dead World Beyond, even more so than Fear the Walking Dead this season. Well, you know, I do understand what you're saying with that, Steph, because once Jadis came in, some of those episodes did get really good there for World Beyond. Very surprising. The first part of the season, but remember that World Beyond has given you 10 episodes, and Fear the Walking Dead's only given you 8, and then they're doing another 8 in its second half. So it's World Beyond has a lower episode run amount and also less episodes overall. It's not like it's going to be continuing after this unless it turns into the anthology series or something like that, or if they use the kids for something else. I really hope we don't see anybody from World Beyond except maybe Jadis in the Rick movie. I wouldn't really want to see any of them used in the Rick movie because I feel like World Beyond has been such a letdown for Walking Dead fans that if you were to take any of them into the Walking Dead movie, it won't be like a positive, transition, unless they do it in a very slick way or something. But it'll be tricky. I hope to not see any of the World Beyond characters cross into the Walking Dead movie. I think it's a safe bet they will not cross into the original Walking Dead TV series, and I hope we don't see them in Fear either. I hope that after this is done, we're just kind of done with this World Beyond's Walking Dead crew, and that's just kind of it. I don't really want to see them in Anthology or anything else. I'm just not, it's so weird to me being such a hardcore Walking Dead fan, but I'm just not a fan of these characters, so I don't care to see them in any other property. I hope they really don't cross over into almost anything. Ribby the Party Frog says, and I thought Jadis had a terrible haircut before, right? Haircut was bad before. Yeah, the bowl cut is pretty funny. I guess she's just destined to have these terrible haircuts, is what it is. But she's a very good bad guy, you got to admit, right? Like, I think she's a natural bad guy. Even if they bring her in and she saves Rick or she does something good in some ways, it just feels like, it's She just naturally gravitates towards being a bad guy. So it doesn't surprise me that she kind of becomes a bad guy in World Beyond so quickly. But it is also possible that maybe Rick was not someone who was experimented on. Maybe he's actually somebody they've used, like they've used Jadis as an officer or something, and he's just not allowed to leave, or they haven't given him an opportunity to leave. It is really weird, though, that you have all those time skips and all this stuff. We never get to see Rick during that time. Daryl never finds him. And, I guess we'll see what they do. But if the CRM has locations in other countries, I do think that would be good if they would have moved him to a different country, because then you can understand why he wouldn't have been able to be reunited with the others. If he's in like a totally different continent or something, like if he's somewhere in Europe or the UK or somewhere like that, it could be a kind of cool, because then it'd be like, that would be difficult in a zombie apocalypse for him to get back there ever. But it would be cool to see if he finally ever does. So, Hippichick said, "Thank you, Trev. I know you're not a big fan of World Beyond, but I really like it. So I appreciate you making a couple of videos on it." Thank you, Hippichick. Well, like I said, it does have some really good stuff in it, I have to admit. And, I think that the CRM aspect of it has been really good. It's the characters that they set us up with in it. I don't really relate to a single one. Maybe like Felix or Huck the most is who I kind of relate to the most. The others, I kind of look at them like kids based on my age. I look at them like kids. And, that's it. And then the bad guys aside from that. So it kind of screwed that up for me. It's just whatever. Look, it's Digdew says, "I'm not so interested in the new characters. Just use the existing ones. They have a story. So for anthology, maybe they could do something with Abraham, the governor, Negan, hell, even the Terminus people. But new characters who will likely only see once. That's not so engaging for me." It's a little bit tricky to say what they're going to do with anthology. It's supposed to start next summer, I think, which is weird. So it almost feels like they turned World Beyond into anthology. Like they were doing World Beyond for 2 seasons. It didn't do that well, so they did announce. People said, "Well, Trevor, it was announced to only be 2 seasons at the beginning." Well, you have to understand, like if you're talking about television, everything is subject to change, right? Like if 5 million people watched the 2nd season of World Beyond, I guarantee you they would do a 3rd season. Like it's based on fan demands. So they must have seen I think what happened is, if I remember correctly, when it first premiered, World Beyond was announced, everything like that. They had finished it, they greenlit it and everything. And then once the episodes were done and they had previewed, it seems like the first few episodes, I think, of the 1st season, they thought, okay, we'll do a 2nd season, we'll do this stuff, and then that's it. It sounds like once they saw what it was, they announced. So it wasn't announced when I covered it. I remember it wasn't announced from the very get-go that it was only going to be a two season limited run. That wasn't set in stone at the very beginning. It wasn't until they had completed some of the 1st season, and it seems like they, were ready to release it. Pretty close to then, they announced that, the 2nd season is going to be the last season. Also, because I think they kind of understood, like they kind of watched it themselves, it seems like, and they were like, I don't think this is strong enough for, many, many years, it seems like. So, or maybe there's something to set up for the Rick movie that we'll see, and then that's why they're ending it there. But ultimately, like I said, if 5 million people would have watched each episode, they would have found a way to continue with those characters on in another year. It just, World Beyond didn't happen. You're getting like 400,000 people watching an episode in the U.S., or probably 300,000 now, probably even less for the last few episodes, which is like nobody is like, yeah, you cancel it. Makes sense, right? You only do 2 seasons. You do limited, yeah. That's just what it is. Tron Effect says, "I don't know about anyone else, but man, I love Walking Dead universe." So I do too. Thank you, Tron, for the great comment. And we'll see what anthology brings us to. That could be kind of cool. I do like how much AMC has done with Walking Dead. I think that's really great. That's a huge win. 12 years of the TV series. Granted, we kind of lost a year there and everything, but about 12 years of the TV series with extended seasons. Then you have, 7 seasons of Fear the Walking Dead, so you're at 19. And then a couple seasons of World Beyond, so you're at 21 seasons. And a movie Granted, they're not all the original group in every one, but even Fear has brought some of those characters over. So they definitely have done the most they could based on the comic book series for Walking Dead, I think. It's almost like they did so much of it that the audience kind of burned out. But I think especially after 2019, 2020 world events, I do think has had an impact post that time period on interest in this genre as a whole. People might want a different kind of escapism now, so we'll see how that affects further Walking Dead properties and if AMC is going to continue with it indefinitely or if they're going to wind it down and do more limited releases. But they announced Anthology for a season of that already, and I think Season 8 of Fear is pretty much guaranteed that that's going to happen. So, and then we'll see for the movie. So, yeah, that'll be it for today's video, guys. I hope you liked it. Let me know how you're feeling about Walking Dead. Let me know what you think about World Beyond. Do you think it took away from the movies at all? Or I guess we'll see once episode 10 hits whether or not you're feeling like it was good promotion for the movie, or are you one that's saying that no, Trev, I don't buy it. I don't think that they're even going to do a movie. I think it was just they were just saying that so people didn't quit watching the original series. Leave your comments below, and I'll see you again soon for another video. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.